Who is Su Yang, really? A cultivator stuck in qi refining for 100,000 years, or something far beyond that. Some say he was cursed. Others believe he's a forgotten god. But what if he was the source of creation itself? In Celestial Scrolls, we explore the theories, the myths, and the hidden truths behind Su Yang's origin. Let's open the scroll and see what lies beyond the heavens. To the world, he was a man who failed to break through. A cultivator who stayed in the qi refining stage for 100,000 years. In a world where most ascend after reaching the 10th level, Su Yang reached the 9,999 level. And still, he didn't break through. To some, that made him a joke, a forgotten relic of a declining sect. But to others, it made him a mystery, a threat, a warning, because something didn't add up. No tribulation ever struck him. No divine will punished or guided him. Even the heavens, it seemed, stayed silent. And then came the signs. He awakened powers that shouldn't exist. Bloodlines that were never meant to mix. Human, dragon, phoenix. Divine beasts that once ruled the skies bowed before him without a fight. Entire sects, proud and ancient, were wiped away by a single wave of his hand. That's when the whispers began. That Su Yang wasn't just another cultivator. That he didn't come from the heavens, but from before them. A force, a presence, a being that existed before the Tao itself. Today on Celestial Scrolls, we explore the growing theories behind Su Yang's true identity. Because if he wasn't shaped by the laws of cultivation, then maybe he was the one who shaped them. One theory calls him the source flame, the first spark of existence, not born of heaven and earth, but the flame that forged both. According to this view, Su Yang's 1,000th-century cultivation wasn't cultivation at all. It was containment, a seal holding back a force too ancient to be remembered. Another theory says he carries the original blood, not a mix of dragon, phoenix, and human, but their ancestor. The reason these bloodlines revere him is not because they fear him, but because they remember him. And then there's the most dangerous theory of all, the heaven betrayal. That Su Yang was once a god, or something greater, who was sealed by the very heavens for being too powerful. And now, after 100,000 years, he's waking up. Not to ascend, not to defy heaven, but to reclaim what was his before heaven even existed. So we ask again, who is Su Yang? A man who defied fate, or the one who wrote it? But let's not base this only on theory. The story itself leaves behind clues, quiet, buried moments that don't scream for attention, but whisper the truth to those who are listening. Let's look at a few. First, the qi refining realm. Most cultivators spend months, maybe years, in this stage. Su Yang spent 100,000 years, and in that time, he refined qi to a level no one thought was possible. 9,999 layers. Not just a number, a symbol. In Taoist tradition, 9,999 represents the peak before transcendence. A number just beneath complete perfection, as if something or someone was deliberately holding him just below the divine. Now ask yourself, how did he survive so long? During this time, powerful sects rose and fell. Immortal emperors came and went. But Su Yang? He remained untouched. He never aged. He never died. Not once was he challenged by a heavenly tribulation. Why? Because the heavens didn't dare. That's the second clue. Silence from the heavens. In cultivation lore, when someone breaks natural law, heaven responds. Tribulation strikes. Karma balances the scales. But for Su Yang, there was only silence, as if heaven itself didn't know how to judge him, or worse, wasn't allowed to. And then the bloodline reaction. When he eventually reveals a trace of his dragon essence, ancient beasts tremble. When the phoenix flame rises from his body, phoenix bloodlines submit. No contest, no resistance. As if they weren't seeing a rival, but remembering a creator. That's not reverence. That's instinct. And finally, the most subtle clue of all. Su Yang's calm. Throughout the story, he never truly panics. Never seems confused about who he is. He's not searching for power. He's waiting, as if some part of him already knows. This world, this system of cultivation, even the so-called gods, are beneath him. That's not the behavior of a man trying to rise. That's the patience of something ancient, sealed, and simply waking up. These moments, small as they are, build a bigger picture, one the world hasn't seen clearly yet. But we will, because the scroll isn't closed. It's only just begun to open. Let's begin with the most ancient and profound theory, the source flame of creation. Imagine a spark that existed before time, before space, before even the Tao itself. A conscious flame, a primal force that birthed the universe and all its laws. Some believe Su Yang is that flame. Not a man cultivating power, but a living embodiment of the original creative energy, the spark from which heaven, earth, and the myriad laws were born. This explains why he was trapped in the Qi refining stage for so long. Not because he was weak, but because the universe itself feared what would happen if that flame was ever fully unleashed again. His cultivation was really a seal, a barrier built to contain a force too raw and powerful to be allowed free. In the 9,999 levels of Qi refining, a cosmic lock, a countdown to an awakening that no mortal or immortal should survive. When Su Yang finally broke through that seal, the world trembled. The laws that once bound him began to bend, not just to his will, but as if recognizing their origin. This theory sees Su Yang not as a challenger to the heavens, but the source from which they arose, a flame that must either reignite creation or burn it all away. Is this theory true? Only time will tell. But if it is, the consequences would reshape everything we thought we knew about cultivation and the universe itself. Moving on to another powerful theory, the Trinity of Blood. Su Yang's bloodline is unlike any other. Human, dragon, and phoenix, three ancient and legendary bloodlines all coursing through his veins. To most cultivators, this would be impossible, a contradiction of nature and fate. But what if these bloodlines didn't come from his ancestors, but returned to their origin? This theory suggests that Su Yang is the original source of these divine lineages. Long ago, the powers of dragon, phoenix, and human essence were once united in one being, Su Yang himself. Over millennia, these powers splintered and spread across the world, forming the bloodlines that now rule the heavens and earth. When Su Yang reawakens, the bloodlines recognize him, not as a rival, but as their root. That's why no divine beast dares challenge him, and why his powers combine the strengths of all three without conflict. He's not just a cultivator with mixed heritage. He's the primordial ancestor, the fountainhead of creation's might. This theory explains the overwhelming respect and fear Su Yang commands naturally. It also sheds light on why his power seems limitless, because it is the foundation of all power. If Su Yang is truly the origin of these divine bloodlines, then his return is not just a personal story. It's a cosmic event with implications far beyond any mortal's understanding. Now, let's turn to one of the darker theories, the betrayal of the heavens. According to this view, Su Yang's long imprisonment in the Qi refining stage was no accident. It wasn't a punishment for weakness, but a deliberate seal placed by the very forces that rule the heavens. The heavens themselves feared him. Why? Because Su Yang was too powerful, too ancient, and too dangerous to be allowed free. Some believe that he was once a god, or even something beyond gods, who challenged the established order. Perhaps he threatened the balance of the cosmos, forcing the celestial authorities to betray him. This betrayal wasn't just about Su Yang. It was a cosmic power play, a war fought in shadows by immortal beings who feared losing their throne. The curse that kept Su Yang locked in Qi refining wasn't a punishment. It was a prison built from the combined might of heaven's strongest. And now, after 100,000 years, that prison is breaking. If this theory holds true, then Su Yang's return is not just a personal resurrection. It's the beginning of a reckoning between the one they tried to destroy and the heavens themselves. The final theory we'll explore today is perhaps the most mysterious, the memory erasure. Throughout the story, There's a striking absence of records about Su Yang's true identity, not just forgotten by individuals, but erased from history itself. This theory suggests that Su Yang's true self wasn't just lost, it was deliberately wiped from the memories of the world. A power so great, so dangerous, that entire civilizations, sects, and even immortal beings had their memories altered to forget who he really was. This kind of mass memory manipulation would require an unimaginable force, one that might be beyond even the heavens. Why erase him from memory? Because remembering Su Yang could unravel the very foundation of the cultivation world. It would expose the lies and seals that keep the cosmos in order. This theory casts Su Yang not only as a forgotten god, but as a key to truths the universe desperately wants to hide. If the past is rewritten, then the future depends on who remembers and who dares to seek the truth. Before we wrap up today's exploration, here's a personal theory, one that adds a new layer of mystery to Su Yang's story. In the first episode of Over Goddess, at about the 16-minute mark, Chen drops a subtle but significant hint. He seems to know Su Yang, not as a distant legend, but as someone familiar. Maybe even more than that. Could Su Yang be so powerful, so beyond the heavens, that even someone like Xianxia, a formidable cultivator himself, recognizes him? This suggests their connection runs deep, possibly as foster brothers, close friends, or even rivals from a time long forgotten. If this is true, it means Su Yang's power isn't just cosmic, it's personal. And the bonds he shares with others might be key to understanding why the heavens fear him, and why his return shakes the very foundation of cultivation. It's a reminder that behind every legend of creation and destruction, there might be stories of loyalty, friendship, and secrets waiting to be uncovered. Su Yang's true power and his true story might be far closer to the world than we ever imagined. Su Yang's story is a mystery that goes beyond the heavens and challenges everything we know about cultivation. What do you think about these theories? Do you believe Su Yang is the source flame, the origin of the bloodlines, or something else entirely? Or could he really be connected to Chen in ways we haven't yet uncovered? Leave your thoughts and theories in the comments. I want to hear your ideas. If you found this exploration helpful or intriguing, please hit that subscribe button and show some support. Your encouragement helps Celestial Scrolls keep uncovering the deepest secrets in cultivation lore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time as we dive even deeper. This is Celestial Scrolls.